Hello, good morning from Tainan, Taiwan. How are you all today? Where are you in the world? Give me a shout out. Hey, Russ. It's Johnson about FarEastAdvTravl. This is the oldest street in Taiwan. It's here in Tainan in southern Taiwan. And I'm just going to take a walk down here. And it's loaded with all kinds of, it's pretty touristy now. It's loaded with all kinds of tourist souvenir shops, but lots of little restaurants and snack places and stuff. Tainan is very well known as a food center in Taiwan. Lots of people love to come to Tainan. Hi, Tim from Massachusetts. How are you? It is a real destination for people in Taiwan for sure. They love Tainan. It's -1 in West Kelowna. Ooh, I'm sorry to hear that, my friend. That's my friend Russ in British Columbia, Canada, in the interior of BC, where it's very cold. Here, it's pretty warm. It's mid-20s right now. A little bit of a breeze coming off from the water, and it's very mild. It's a few degrees higher than northern Taiwan. This is tropical Taiwan. So it's milder here throughout the winter, and but gets very, very hot here in the summer, upwards in the high 30s. Very hot, very dry, but very, very hot here. So air conditioning is an absolute must for a lot of the year. But this is Anping Street. It's hundreds of years old. This is everybody comes down here when they come to Tainan, and Tainan used to be the capital of Taiwan. And it was also a Dutch stronghold. So there's an old Dutch fort here as well. The Dutch had this up until the mid-1600s, 1661. The Chinese took it back. But it was a Dutch stronghold. They have a fortress here. Lots of traders from around the world came here eventually as well. Oh, thanks for inviting your followers. And real super easy to do that. Just swipe the screen left to right on iOS or up on Android. And hit share, or just tap the little corner figure and hit share, and tap the screen if you like what you're seeing. My name's John Sabo, FarEastAdvTravl, and I've been down in Tainan here for the last couple of days, going to the Beehive Fireworks Festival. You can still catch some of my replays from yesterday, although I couldn't get any of the fireworks last night because there was just no bandwidth. I think there was just so many people there that I couldn't get a strong enough signal to broadcast any of the fireworks. But if you go to Catch and look me up on Catch, you can see all of the Beehive Fireworks broadcasts that I did the night before. But there's a very, very good broadcast there of the amazing parade that they had yesterday in the Yanshui district for the festival. It was really, really cool, a lot of fun, like totally full-on southern Taiwan party culture, and very, very cool. So this is Yanping Street, and it's a very famous street because it is pretty much the oldest street in Taiwan, and it's loaded with all kinds of snacks. So this is a seafood town because it's a port town. It's close to the ocean, so there's lots of seafood available here. Excuse me. This little thing here, that is called the nickname or English name is coffin toast, and it's a hollow-out thick piece of bread, and they put like a mixture of seafood in, and it's kind of like in a creamy sauce, like kind of almost like a bechamel or something like that, and it's really, really tasty, and lots of people come here just to have that, but there's all kinds of other soups and shrimp rolls and all kinds of snacks that they do here in Tainan. People love food here, and people all over Taiwan love food. It's a food destination for sure. And this is another little ad for coffin toast, deep fried seafood stuffed toast. I remember when I first heard the name, I thought, well, that doesn't sound too appetizing. I don't want to be thinking about coffins when I'm eating, but it's just the translation. So that's the closest word that they could come up with in English that would translate into what they're trying to say. So there's funny translations. That's why when you're ever going through Asia and you see weird signs of of shops and things. It's just because it wouldn't be like that in their own language, but because of the translation factor, and nothing ever really translates exactly. All you have to do is use Google Translate if you have friends on Facebook or something that speak in another language, and you'll see it. Just sometimes it doesn't make any sense. Well, the seafood is dead. Yes, that is true, my friend. That is true, but nobody wants to think of that, right? No, that was the worst damage, was that one building in all of the earthquake. So they arrested the one of the original developers of the building, and they'd found oil cans that were used in some of the construction, empty oil cans and foam, and I mean they do use foam in lots of new construction, but it looks pretty shady, being the fact that in that particular neighborhood there was only that was the only building that collapsed. So pretty much the rest of Tainan, where a lot of the center of the destruction happened, it's fine. So it really is just that one major building that showed that had the most damage. So they have these. This is a machine. It makes prawn crackers. So they make that. That's a very famous snack here in Tainan. Are crackers made out of seafood, like shells. They grind the shells up and they make a cracker out of it. Yeah, it's terrible, absolutely terrible, the earthquake. So you'll see like people, there's a lady, I don't know if you saw when I was walking down the street, she was looking at me, she had a little canister, and they'll hand out these little samples of prawn crackers, and they even bring in lobster from other countries and they make crackers out of those as well. But very famous, they're really good actually. And they're not, I think they're a lot better than maybe the ones if you've had them in North America, if you get Chinese takeout and they give you sometimes they'll give you some of those types of crackers. They're way better than that. So they sell these like everywhere. So there's some more. And they leave the samples all out. So people come down here and they get samples. The thing I wanted to show you are these stone lions that are very famous here. And these ones I think are newer. But they're very famous here because they used to put these faces, and I'll show you one. We'll walk into this little plaza here, on all of the doors because they didn't have addresses. So your house was identified, or your family was identified by the type of stone lion that you had. And they were, based on your status in society. If you were like a government official or something like that, you might have a more grander one. So that's how they used to identify houses here. And there's still some original ones here. This is just a copy of one of these stone lions, and they have the sword lions, and they have the swords in them, and they're obviously like a lion character. And they were also used to protect the house from evil spirits as well. So they believe that having these on your door would keep evil away. And you'll see these all around this part of town. But there are some original ones around here. And if I have time, maybe I can show you some. But they're very. This is a very big part of the culture here. And in the South you'll find, thanks for the hearts by the way, really appreciate that. In the South you'll find really true, authentic Chinese culture here, very vibrant, and the Tainan really does it up. That's why they have like this Beehive fireworks festival, and they blow off firecrackers and bottle rockets and everything, because the culture is very, very strong and vibrant down here. Most people come down to the South because they appreciate that part of the culture in Taiwan. But it's nice, very quiet streets around here. This is kind of a quiet day. I mean, the mornings are usually a little more quiet around here. In the afternoons, it'll get really busy, and on the weekends, there's just thousands of people walking around this area. But this is, like I said, this is like food, shrimp rolls. Very big here, shrimp rolls and shrimp crackers and sword lions, and that's kind of a little bit of the culture and the food of Tainan. And you'll see these everywhere. And I think this is probably the only place in the country that I know of where you'll see these stone lions so prominently. You see wind lions, stone wind lions on some of the smaller islands. Oh, that's a really good question about the work breaks. Really good question. Typically in Taiwan, like if you're an office worker, you get an hour and a half for lunch, and they probably work longer hours than North Americans. But they take an hour and a half for lunch, so they'll have lunch, and a lot of people have a nap. They'll put their head down on their desk or somewhere. So you'll see lots of people around this part of Asia just on a subway or in a public place, and they'll just have their head down on the table because they'll be taking a nap, and that's very normal. That's just what people do here, and people will work in the office longer. A lot of people will work till 7 o'clock at night here in the office. Not everybody does, but a lot of people do. So the hours during the week are a little bit longer, and then so you find on the weekends people really go out and they enjoy their life, and there's people going out for restaurants. Everything is really busy on the weekends all around the island. People travel, and they go out for dinner, and they really enjoy their leisure time. They go to hot springs and things like that, but they probably generally work a little bit longer work week than a North American or European would. I'm going to head back to Taipei tomorrow. I'm just here tonight. I extended one. I was actually going to leave today, but I just enjoy myself here so much in Tainan. It's so lovely here, and the weather's nice and it's dry. It's been so rainy. We had a few nice days in Taipei around the beginning of the Lunar New Year, and then it just started really raining hard again. So I'm just down here. It's really laid-back place, and it looks like a little field trip going on here, and so I'm just enjoying my time here in Tainan. So I got a bicycle, and I'm riding a bike around today. Yes, the Taiwanese people are very, very friendly, and I interviewed a young girl last night at the Beehive Festival, and she's so happy to have these festivals because she likes to share the culture, and they're very hospitable people. So it's really reflective in the culture, and a lot of these things are passed down from generation to generation. And some of it is the Chinese culture, the Japanese culture, a mix of all of that. Plus, it's island culture, so people look out for each other. And absolutely, and they love foreigners because this isn't a destination like Southeast Asia where you're getting so many people coming in, or Hong Kong. It's an island. It's a little more isolated, so they don't get the same kind of, particularly Western. Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure. They don't get as many Western visits here as they would in Southeast Asia. So when they do see Westerners, they're super, super hospitable. They're very inviting, very warm, and even if they don't speak English well, they really try hard to make you happy and help you out. So see, as you said, these images of these sword lions and stone lions are everywhere around here. And these lovely little lanes, they're so quiet, and it's just a really relaxing place to be. See how there's even more narrower lanes than this, but let's just take a walk down this one. Hey there, doggy. And hi, how are you? Ni hao ma. I'm sorry, so sorry. 对不起. I cannot read Chinese characters. But thank you for joining me. I hope if you're from Taiwan, maybe you could speak just a little English and say hello. We're talking about how wonderful Taiwanese people are. And these are some of the original streets down here. This is the residential area, but we might find one of these stone lions somewhere. I've walked down here before. It's been a while, but there's some shops, and we may see a sword lion or a stone lion, like an original one around here. But usually in these little lanes, it's nice to just kind of walk through and not talk too loud, because these are people's homes. But this is real old Taiwan. Hi, ni hao. Thanks for the hearts, by the way. If you're just joining me, it's John Sabot, Far East Adventure Travel, around the oldest neighborhood in Taiwan. This is Tainan, Anping, Tainan. Oh, thank you, 谢谢. So I'm just on a hunt for some sword lions, and I don't see any here. But you can see some of these traditional Fujianese style houses that are still in existence around here, these roofs. Really cool. If you go to some of the outer islands in Taiwan, you'll see villages full of houses like that, and they're beautiful. And there's some that they have open houses, and they open their doors up on the main street, and they let people walk into their homes, and it's beautiful, beautiful little homes, traditional Fujianese style homes. So, but I'm just walking around here trying to find a stone lion or a sword lion. But look at this little beautiful little temple here, little shrine with the paintings. And I don't know how old this is, but it's not ancient, but it's old. But you see stuff like this all around here. And this is really cool. You see these on the outer islands as well. These walls are made out of coral. And a lot of these old Fujianese homes, that's what they would use. They just used what they could find on the beach. And it's amazing. You'll see they make furniture out of stuff like this, and houses and stuff. But this is just coral. You can see. Look at that. And they use these to make the walls. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to find one of these stone lions. But it'd be really cool if we could. There's maybe about 12 I've read that are still around, original ones. Oh, I see one. Let's go. This is awesome. Cool. I'm not sure if this is a totally original one, but I've got one in my sights. Hey, how are you? Welcome to Taiwan. Catch my broadcast from last night at the Beehive Fireworks Festival, and definitely watch the replays. It's just a lot of fun. Oh my God, the culture here is just so vibrant. It's amazing. Some more of this coral. You can see the stems from the coral branches here. This is all integrated into the house, the way it's built. And this is super traditional. You can see the homes here. Oh, well, no, I live in Taiwan, Taipei, part-time. But that's okay. Don't worry. Make one chi. It's good. Your English is good. So these are the very famous sword lions, and this is really true Taiwanese culture. No, I'm not an English teacher. I'm a broadcast journalist. And everybody automatically thinks that, because there's most foreigners that are here, Westerners anyways, that can speak English or from an English-speaking country are English teachers, which totally makes sense. But no, I'm not an English teacher. Excuse me. Well, this is one of the boats here that they have. Very cool. That is obviously a part of the sea culture here. And they have temples everywhere around Tainan, little ones, big ones. A lot of them are dedicated to Mazu, the goddess of the sea. And this is Anping. And we'll just take one last little walk around the corner here. Thank you so much for joining me. You're seeing some of the most traditional housing in Taiwan. And it's so lovely that they preserve this culture here and heritage. And here's some more of these walls. Oh, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. I love sharing this stuff with you. I have a podcast as well, 2 podcasts called FarEastAdvTravl on iTunes, if you would check those out. And if you like what you hear or see, please give me a review in iTunes. I would be so grateful for that. It helps other people find Far East Adventure Travel. So it's a video podcast and an audio podcast, 2 different podcasts. If you could find those on iTunes, search them out and check it out, or go to my website, FarEastAdvTravl.com. That would be really cool. So some more of these homes, and they have some of the coral exposed here. But I think it's so great that they use just organic materials to build. This is how they used it. They just used what they had. And there's some more of the roofs here. And maybe we'll see something. I like how they take, like, they'll take old floats that they find that have washed up from the sea that were used in fishing, and they'll use them as decorations. They'll paint them and do kinds of different things. And this is another, looks like they're doing some renovation in there. Another of the old homes. And here's, like, this is what you would have, like, but it would be bigger. This is like they've got an old, but they've got the address on here. One of the sword lions. Hello, 你好. And just take a walk out of the village here. And there's another sword lion high up that they painted. People have put new ones on, sort of to remind everybody about the culture, the original culture here. Even though they're newer homes, people still incorporate that in because they're very proud of their heritage and culture here. It's very well preserved. There was never a cultural revolution here. So this is true, authentic, original Chinese, Taiwanese culture right here in the oldest part of the island. Yes, traditional Chinese architecture, it's gorgeous. And you know, when you're inside these homes and you see all of the organic materials that they use, like driftwood and coral to make these homes, it's really, really remarkable. And it just has, I don't know what, it's hard to describe feeling, but that organic feeling is just, it feels like it's just part of the outside as well. This is the old Dutch fort, Zeelandia, and most of it's been rebuilt, but they built it pretty much to the way it looked before, and that was about 1661 that the Dutch lost control of this area. And this is it. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to be coming to you again from Tainan, Taiwan today. I have a camera stabilizer. Yes, I use it. I purchased it originally to use for my podcast, my video podcast, because I find it really gives you a good sort of movie quality. And then when Periscope went to landscape mode, I started using it, and it's very effective, and it helps give you a better quality signal because your camera's not jostling around, although Periscope has improved their stabilization as well. You're welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you. 谢谢. 新年快乐. Happy New Year from Tainan, Taiwan.